Hey, Ange.
Hey Les, how's it going?
It's going.
It's a time.
It's a
It's a
time.
season.
It's a.
It's
I'm
it's
in
a
a
tough
season.
one. Yeah, yeah. Um, all right, invite people in, and then we can get going.
Well, welcome to another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
I'm Angela, and that's Leslie, my best friend of almost 50 years. We are two free-thinking 60-something-year-old Black women who have decided to live a life filled with joy and boldness. And we invite you to come along with us on our journey. More importantly, get on your journey, continue on your journey. And today it's a really tough time, and Leslie's going to share some of what's been going on and some of the lessons that we're both learning through it. Because guess who's not we are not fair weather friends.
Mhm.
You don't get 50 years being fair weather friends. Maybe 6 months. So we're
Yeah.
going to talk about how I'm going to talk about how it's impacting me too. So go ahead, Les. Let's get them
So,
started.
before I begin, though, I'd love it if you hit like and subscribe. I suspect that you've been listening to us for a little bit of time and maybe you were on the fence a little bit. Now's your time. Hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I told Ange that I wanted this week's recording to discuss a personal family issue that I'm going through. And it's difficult because I have my son has been ill. And as any mother would feel, the difficulty with that, because half of my brain is also a physician. So there are times when a loved one is ill when you know too much and you wish you didn't. So I just wanted to talk to you about some of the experiences and lessons, perhaps, or takeaways that I'm going through. And I think that it might be helpful because life is lifing. We have joyful times, but we also have difficult and stressful times. And we certainly have loved ones that are ill and have health challenges. So I just wanted to let you all know. And leave some comments and tell me, what your thoughts are about this. But for those of you who have been following us for some time, I have a son who has had a kidney transplant some years ago. And as a result, if you've had an organ transplant, you spend the rest of your life taking immunosuppressant drugs so that you don't reject the organ. So people who have chronic immune suppression, they are not able to fight off germs, bugs, and things that people with a normal immune system can fight off. So what I've always told my son is that if you get a cough, it's way more serious than if I get a cough. Or a headache to me is not the same as a headache to him. So that's some of the background. Turns out my son had been complaining of a headache for some time, so I finally took him to the hospital, and as it turned out, he was really quite ill. And in his illness, I went through different stages of emotion. Half of me as a mom, but the other half as a physician. And there were times when the medical information that I had, I wish I didn't have. So here I was with a critically ill child who's an adult, but he's still a child. He's my child. And only now that his health and his condition is improving can I really find myself going toward the other side of it such that I can even talk about it. What actually happened to me was that I found I couldn't speak about it even. I couldn't use the words. And I was in such a fearful place that it was almost unspeakable. You know, I felt so alone and isolated in my thoughts, even though I had loved ones around me and people who were concerned. So I know some of these feelings you all may have experienced. So I just want to talk about it a little bit. When I thought about it, I realized there are about 5 lessons that I learned and am learning going through this experience. And I'm not going to say that I've conquered them, but there are certainly things that I'm thinking about as my son's health is starting to improve. So all of my life, I've enjoyed the richness of having good friends, meaningful connections, and I would say that I've cultivated a circle of loved ones that have been so valuable during this time for me. People that you don't necessarily have to speak to all the time, but you know those ride or die folks that you can make a call or you don't even have to make a call and they're right by your side, like this lady right over here. So if I had to say one of the first things that I've learned about it is to keep your loved ones close and in your heart. You never know when you may need them.
And even if they resist, if the one in need resists, I'm good. Go anyway. There's a plan. It's okay. So what? Well, I don't know what you're going to do if you figure something out. Just have the bed ready. I have it all like I'm doing this at 2, 3, 4, and then I'll do this from 4 to 8, and somebody else can do that. Be accepting of the help when it is presented to you. Is all I'm saying.
Ange, that's hard for me. I got to tell you all that this lady who does not live near me, she got on a plane twice to make sure that I was okay. Stopped what she was doing, booked a flight, and said, if I can catch the next flight, I'll be there this evening. And as she was saying, I tried to resist. I'm okay now. I may need you later. I think I can do this. She's like, I'm on my way. So I can sit in the hospital with him while you're doing other things. And wow.
It was my honor to do it.
Yeah.
Leslie's son is the first baby, newborn, that I got to know. So he is and means more to me than, I guess I could say maybe what one may think when they think of a best friend's son.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We kind of shared raising him. Yeah.
He's this person that I have a great relationship with. We, you know,
You have a separate relationship
yeah,
with him than you do with me.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And so it was an honor to be with him and to be there for you. It wasn't a burden at all.
And lotion his feet while he's...
Lotion his feet and his hands and cut his toenails.
Mm-hmm.
And remembered when I used to hold them up when he was a baby, you know, before they became smelling like corn chips. They had a beautiful
baby smell.
Baby oil smell. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second thing I thought about my partner, my fiance, my love, you know. Not only is he so good to me, but he's so good to our son. Mm-hmm. And once again, he stepped in when I didn't think that I really needed him to right now. And he was right here by my side. And then by our son's side.
And I'm going to say something about, I don't know if I've said this to you, Les. I think maybe I did in one of the car rides to wherever we were going. What I experienced it's kind of this ability to have joy and sadness exist in the same space, which I recognize, and maybe I didn't always even know that it was possible, maybe right next to each other, but at the same time. So seeing you and Rick together at your son's bedside, knowing that he was seeing his parents like this, knowing that you and he just got engaged, and being in joy about that, and also feeling the grief of a really sick nephew, and both things were happening at the same time, and I recognized it, and it was just so wow. So I just kind of wanted to say that too, that maybe that is something that can be considered with you listening, that those things can exist and there need not be like guilt or pushing one aside for the other.
Yeah.
There are these moments in time when both joy and grief can coexist.
Now, you know, now that you're mentioning some of the emotional part of it, one of the things that you often say is that you have to feel the feels. And this was such a sad time for me. It's so difficult. I have a hard time putting words on it. But you encourage me that I need to feel these feelings. And I never want to do that. I try to skip over it. I did not stop working during this time because I wanted a distraction away from that sadness and those feelings. And I knew that I could be with him in the mornings or be with him all through the night or whatever. But by going to work, I did not have to experience some of the despair and fear that I felt. You know?
Leslie has a way of telling me, like when I'm telling her about some experience that I've been able to put into context and, you know, understand in ways that I was never able to before. I hadn't evolved to become who I am now. And, you know, just being admiring of the way that I manage things now. And what I told her is that these changes in me really came through me allowing myself to experience grief and sorrow and not running from it and having this messy middle do the work that it was brought to do. And that I saw her doing that work, right? In the ways that she started framing things, in the ways that she recognized, even if, the decision, it's not the decision itself, is the recognition, okay, I'm doing this for this reason, or why did I do that? Or, even those questions, that curiosity around how we think and why we believe what we believe, that I see her doing this work. And the result of doing the work is getting to some of the stuff that she admires about me. That it's not me and that has this special thing.
Yes, it is.
Anyone, and it will be you, Leslie, as you move through. And I see it in you. I see the stuff going on, like I've told you. Like the way that you say, I'm feeling this, and I know that it's kind of my ego showing up. That's like, who is this?
That's Les 2.0.
Yeah, so I see who's on her way to 2.5 to 5.0. I see these movements, and when we talk about this joy stuff, it is that. It's like not the moment when you feel the joy, it's how you're working to be able to experience joy in a long-term fulfilling way.
Yeah.
It's the hard part that I see you doing, and that my pride just swells when I kind of see how you are navigating this stuff. And again, even if the action isn't what's changing, but your curiosity about the action, that is totally different. Yeah. You see what I mean?
But that's, I think, the very essence of why we started the podcast in the first place. Because even though we are 60-something-year-old women, we do have a commitment to continue to grow and learn. Mm-hmm. And we want to talk about people who may share these ideas with us, or have the same desire, or maybe feeling some things and say, it's like, I understand that. I did that too, right. But let me talk about the third thing that has been helping me over these past few weeks. Every time, and it was a lot, I would cry to my sister or to Rick or to you about how afraid I am. I am afraid to lose him. I'm afraid of what my life would be if he were not in it anymore. I was afraid of who I would become as a partner with all of this grief inside of me. There was so much fear. And every time I mentioned the word fear, my sister would say, no, no, no. Though you walk through the shadow of the valley of death, you shall fear no evil. For he shall comfort you. And Monique cut me off right there and reminded me of faith and the importance of belief, and reminded me of examples of miracles in our lives and the grace and mercy that he's been showing us and my family my entire life. Monique cut me off right there and said, no, no, no,
I could hear
that's
her now.
like big sister admonishing me. And she was consistent.
Yeah.
she was just reminding me. And I remember one time in particular, from my house to the hospital, I just kept reciting that over and over because I didn't want other thoughts to come into my head. I didn't want the fear to creep back up. So what I'm saying about this is that sometimes it's hard to remember your faith. Sometimes it's hard to experience that in your spirit. But as a believer, he's always with me and it's always there. And the noise may get in the way, and the fear and doubt and trepidation can creep in. But when we hold on and remember that he is with us, it helped me every time. Yeah. The other thing I want to say, and this may be the last lesson that I want to say, is that when hard times come unexpectedly or they befall us even expectedly, we have to stay emotionally ready for them. What I mean is, we have to stay grounded in a way that can buffer some of this life be life and stuff. And remember, I'm sitting here being real with you. I'm not saying I have all this in the bag. I was not emotionally ready for this illness, nor am I really ready for what's going to come in the future, because he's not out of the woods and there's a lot of work that it's going to need to be done for his complete healing. So I wasn't really emotionally ready, and not many of us are when we have a loved one who is critically ill. But I have a therapist in place. And you should hear some of the conversations I've been having with my therapist because of this crisis that we're going through. And I've really been talking to her about my fears and my concerns and the things that I would want and the things that scare me about the way that I was thinking.
Yeah. And you prioritize that.
I did.
Because,
I did.
You stopped your working out, you stopped your physical therapy, but you insisted on making sure that you made your therapy appointments. Yeah. That's usually the opposite of what people do. They'll deal with the physical stuff, but they won't deal with the emotional stuff.
I knew that what was in my head right now, is more important. I know that I can get back to the physical. But what's in my head has to be right if I'm going to continue to parent him to wellness.
Yes.
And it's one of the hardest things that I've had to do. You guys may or may not know that he's had, 20 years ago, he was in a awful car accident and was also on a ventilator and life-threatening and all of this. And being in the intensive care unit with him now, it brought back all of those memories. Seeing him unconscious and wondering if he's ever going to wake up. Wondering what to do about his work, what to do about his apartment. How is he going to live on his own again? And all of those things came back. So the emotional part, and because I'm this type A, one would say, maybe.
This one would say, yes.
If you didn't know me, you might say that. But I'm thinking down the line of organization and list and to-do lists and stuff. That's how I distract myself from the painful stuff. The work that I don't want to do, I make lists and I start doing things. So it was important for me early to move him out of his apartment, put his things in storage, to do things. But in the evenings or when I wasn't at his bedside, I still had those thoughts. And that's when I had to continuously pray and cry out to God, let your will be done, but please let it be that we get more time with him, those things. And you're a keeper. And not just for the podcast.
I just got tenure. I just got tenure after.
Yes, I did give you tenure. You were on probation for 4 decades.
So I feel good. I'm so glad because I want to be kept. I want to be kept. I told you this before, and I want to kind of just remind you of how amazing a human being you raised. I took on some follow-ups for you, and everyone says the same thing. He's such a nice young man. Man, when we talk about, like, he told you that? What? Like, he's an amazing...
Yeah.
He's an amazing young man. And, we say 37, and on the one hand, yes, he's a grown man. We know that. But on the other hand, he's only 37.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's only 37. And I'm so, I feel so fortunate that he's in my life, and that, you made it possible for me to know him like I know him.
Yeah. What you said is that, thank you, Les, for sharing him with my whole family. That's what you said. Yeah, he's been a role model to your children.
My nieces, like everyone, we have a family chat, and they're keeping up to date. How's someone? So yeah, and I'm looking forward to coming back up.
Yes. So I just wanted to share that with you, because when we're in the difficulty, we don't, I gotta say, I never knew that I would be on the other side of it. You don't know when you're in the middle of it, which is why I don't like being in the middle of things. I like predictability. But now that his health is improving, thank God.
Yes, Lord.
I can start thinking about some of the thoughts and even lessons that I've learned. I do believe that all of these things happen for a reason. And I think I just need to try to quiet my mind and really attend to it and understand what's going on and be present for it, which I don't always want to be. So, this has been another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.